Hey, Johnny.
What's up?
Do you ever have those moments where you forget to just jump right into it?
No.
Maybe it's just me then.
That's kind of sad.
That's pretty sad.
Dark Comedies.
Dark Comedies.
You were talking about Dark Comedies earlier. What was the movie you were talking about?
I gotta say, Sonny, one of my favorite Dark Comedies are...
Left-Handed Gun has aged 70 years in 2 seconds right now.
You're an old man, you're gonna die in your sleep very soon.
In meme age, I'm 900 years old.
Is that a thing? Meme age? If not, it should be. Okay, what was it? Grosse Pointe Blank.
Grosse Pointe Blank,
Grosse
man.
Pointe Blank.
I think...
Great movie.
Great movie. Top-notch Dark Comedy.
Here's the cover art.
There it is.
John Cusack, fantastic Cusactor.
Not to be mistaken with John Cusack.
Joan Cusack is in that movie too. She plays his sister in that movie.
Nope, they're not sisters.
No? No, I thought they were brothers. No, what is she? His
assistant.
Assistant.
A secretary or,
because he played... Okay, so... give the basic rundown of the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it.
So John Cusack, right? He's a professional hitman.
Yes.
And he gets invited to go back to his 10-year high school reunion.
Yes, in Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Yes, which is a well-to-do, uppity community.
Yes.
That he hasn't been back since he graduated high school.
Yeah.
10 years ago. Nobody's ever heard from him ever since then.
Well, when you become a hitman, you kind of got to cut ties.
You kind of keep it secret. You don't really go...
Keep it on the DL.
Yeah, exactly. And so he starts running... It's a small town. He runs into everybody that he used to be very familiar with.
Yep.
And, there's also... the other thing about it is that he's got a mission in Grosse Pointe.
Yes, he has a contract there.
He has a contract there. But he's been putting it off because he's just dealing with all of his emotions of coming back home.
Yeah.
And then there's a twist. I don't know, spoiler alerts or not. It's not a huge spoiler.
Here's a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Alert.
But the girl that he left behind that got, essentially got away, whatnot.
Yeah, that's that classic high school girl that got away thing.
Yeah, and he needs to, he wants to get back with her. And,
yeah.
He has to kill his dad. Her dad.
Yeah, he has to kill her dad. And I also believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, because it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, but Dan Aykroyd is another hitman who's also trying to get that contract, right? He's trying to collect the bounty?
Yes.
So
also, he has two motives.
Oh.
He has two motives. The biggest one is obviously to get the contract.
Yeah.
He got snubbed out of the contract.
Okay.
And also, he wants to put a union together for the hitmen.
Hitman union.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes. So that our contracts are distributed equally. And nobody gets fucked in the end.
I mean, I think there's a little bit of social commentary in that movie. But mostly, so from dark comedy aspect of it, you got a hitman who's going to his high school 10-year reunion.
Yeah. And
I love that aspect where it's like, oh, he kills people for a living. But that's not what's important to this plot. The important part of this plot is he has to see people he hasn't seen in 10 years. And he's kind of conflicted because even though he is a very successful mercenary, he's feeling as if he hasn't accomplished enough in his life as much as the other people that he's going to see at this 10-year reunion. And it's just amazing. I love that aspect of dark comedies because you have this very morbid scenario that is taking a backseat to something that is very relatable.
Yes. What is it? Is it the irony? You're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong. If it's the irony of dark comedies where they tell the truth and somebody doesn't believe you, because the truth is so hideous and out of the ordinary. What is that? That's not.
I don't know if that's.
It's probably not irony.
I wouldn't call it ironic. I would say it's. I would say it's.
Cats. Man, the cats.
These cats are fighting.
There's cats everywhere.
Everybody. Studio cats, man. What are you gonna do? They're union man.
You know, I just have some glue and eat some.
So you're gonna be passed out in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's timer
the end
set.
of this, anyways.
I don't know what the word is, but
I don't know what the word is either. But you know what I'm saying, right?
I see. I see what you're saying.
Like everybody asks him what has he been doing for 10 years,
Yeah.
and he says, joined the army, became a government ghost,
Yeah.
a spook,
Yeah.
went into business for myself, became a killer, and everybody's just like,
Oh yeah. You're hilarious.
You're such a funny guy.
You're quite the cut up.
Yeah.
And the thing is though, there's an aspect of that, especially in that movie, because the idea that sometimes to create a diversion, all you have to do is tell the truth.
Yep.
Which I guess could be an underlying theme of that movie. Or a secondary theme of that movie. Which is almost essential to Dark Comedies, because or that theme is essential to that genre. Because there's that whole idea where it's like, oh, what did you do last Friday night? I want to be honest. Oh, I killed somebody. Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, I told the truth. They didn't believe me. That's fine. At least I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody's done that at some point. And I think that the best story, I'm not going to say any actual names because this story is completely ridiculous, but it follows that theme. So a friend of mine, one of his friends, as a young lad, he was seeking a masturbatory aid. So he heard that if you hollow out a zucchini and you microwave it and then you use it, it feels just like the real thing. So he does this, right? And, you know, it is what it is. His parents come home, and his mom, because when you microwave a zucchini, it's like, it doesn't smell good. So his mom comes home, and she's like, oh, well, you know, what does that smell? And so he goes, fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. So in a sarcastic tone, he says, I microwaved the zucchini and fucked it, Mom. And she goes, oh, get out of here. He told the truth. But she didn't believe him.
Yeah.
So that's that whole thing, where it's such a ridiculous thing that no one's gonna believe it, even though it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can make the case that it could be like these underlining themes of culture and society. Mm-hmm. If you want to, you know what? I think it's more of a behavioral thing, like how people behave with certain topics, certain conversation, right? But I guess if you want to be really like a freaking guy that like really likes to overanalyze everything, if you want to really overanalyze it on an underlining, what does it mean for society as a whole? Is that like society as a whole like doesn't want to know the truth? They don't want to really know like what's really going on.
Yeah.
So they live in their little, you know, boxes, and tiny little boxes up in a hill, you know, made out of ticky-tacky. You know, there's a red one, there's a blue one, there's an orange one, and a green one,
Yeah.
right? And they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same. So, you know, there's that theory, like where you take dark humor to say, hey, this is how human beings are to treat what really goes on in life. They actually can't handle it, so they ignore it,
Yeah.
or they just brush it off like it's just some joke or some obscene thing being said, and not take it seriously because they can't, because too real for them. It's too much. Like, you can't really process it.
Well, it makes me think of so I was listening to something earlier today, and essentially it was a radio morning show, and one of the listeners emailed in because one of the hosts of this show was saying a while ago how he was constantly thinking about death. And the listener that emailed in was a mortuary science student. And she was talking about it. She goes, "No, Greg, it's perfectly natural for you to be thinking about death. In fact, it's healthy for you to be thinking about death. Not to be worrying about it, but to be thinking about it so that you can, and talk about it so that you just, because you shouldn't be afraid of death. You should understand that it's going to happen, and then you can go, oh, yeah, that's fine. So the more you talk about it, the more comfortable you are, the less afraid of it you are. It's kind of similar to what you're saying. Is that the more you avoid conversation about something, the more afraid you are of that subject.
It's true. Could be.
Which could.
And that could be another.
And that kind of leads into a whole.
All these ideas run together.
Whole ton of things. Okay, so let's say you're in a relationship, right? And you're worried about something, but you don't ever bring this particular subject up to the other person in this relationship. If you never bring it up, then you're gonna continue to worry about it. So it's better to bring it up, and then for the two of you to talk about it, and then you go, oh, I shouldn't worry about this. I'm glad I brought it up. It's that type of thing. It's like humans have this natural aversion to anything that could possibly be upsetting. So instead of bringing it up and being disappointed, regardless of the scale of disappointment, we just tend to not bring it up so that we don't have to deal with the possibility, because us worrying about it is, in our minds, better than being disappointed to the maximum scale.
And the other thing about dark comedies, what they do a good job of, is they also do this thing where they take a mundane line, right, and it means nothing to a character on the screen, but it means a lot more to the audience, and in a funny way.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when John Cusack is given a pen from the real estate guy, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he runs into a hitman in the hallway, which is crazy in itself. That's a pretty funny. It's not really funny actually, because it's actually a pretty good action little sequence. But he stabs the hitman in the neck with the pen. Mm-hmm. He goes back to the party.
Yeah.
All bloodied up and looking like he got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And defeated because the girl caught him and she ran off, and he's just kind of bummed out about that. But
yeah.
And he runs into the real estate guy, and the real estate guy doesn't even know what to say to this. He's kind of trying to play off of whether to ignore him or walk away or something, but he just ends up sitting there.
Yeah.
And then John Cusack says, "Thanks for the pen."
Yeah.
So it's you have those dark comedies can be very clever, have very British wit, and obviously the Brits know how to do dark comedy pretty well, but the British, I shouldn't just say the British wit, but that cleverness.
Well, it's the dryness
in the joke telling. Yes, and the dryness.
It's taking an extreme situation and making it mundane. Mm-hmm. So, being a hitman, and that's in the universe of this movie, we just have to accept that this is a normal profession. And it's not he's not making a big deal about the fact that he's a hitman. He's just yeah, that's what I do. It's fine. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. Because the fact that he's more worried about his high school reunion than he is about the fact that he takes lives for a living is the whole point.
Yeah.
And so you take these extreme situations that most would argue is being a hitman is immoral, but we're not talking about the moral aspect of whatever this situation is. We're talking about, because it also shines light on the fact that because he's a hitman and he's more worried about meeting up with his high school, like his graduating class, it puts it into that relatability aspect where it's like, regardless of who you are or what you do, we all experience the same shit on some level. And that's I don't know. That's
The only other thing is that death is always a theme, and death is always something that is kind of mocked at in a way.
yeah. Well, I think, but to relate it back to the mortuary science student that came in, like,
Yeah.
dark comedies are the best way for humans to laugh at death.
Yeah.
Because it's the best way for us to take a situation that we all know is inevitable, because it's human fatality, and digest it in such a way where we can go, yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Just like when he's like breaking up with Joan, he's telling Joan Cusack to burn down the office,
Yeah.
and then he's like, he's like, go take care of all of this, and I'll catch up with you later. And she like, like, oh my god, he's gonna do me in.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's not like that. It's like, it's always that play. And we laugh at that. We laugh at the fact that she was actually afraid that she was gonna get knocked.
Yeah.
She's gonna get whacked.
I don't know.
And the whole, union thing is the funny thing. It's just like they talk about the union. They talk about the union, and they're like, "Is there gonna be fees?" And there's like no fees. It's like, and they're exchanging gunfire while they're talking about it.
And that's the other part. Like that scene, right? Because then eventually he kills him with a fucking TV.
Yeah,
Smashes it over his head.
yeah. Popcorn.
Here's the clip. If I can find it. Hashtag if I can find it.
If you're allowed.
Let's get that trending. Smash 1,000 likes. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie. Check it out.
Yeah, watch it.